After her husband David's death, Ramona was left alone in this desolate farmhouse with her two children, Taylor and Annie. Pain and sadness had now become a part of their lives.
The house was no longer filled with the happiness as before. David's absence was felt in everyone's hearts, but no one could put their pain into words.
Little Annie still wept bitter tears whenever she remembered her father. Ramona herself was completely broken, but even so, she was trying to take care of her young daughter.
13-year-old Taylor had become much more mature than his age. He was doing his best to be a support for his mother. There were moments when everything seemed normal. But behind this calm, an unfamiliar feeling was hidden. That very afternoon, Ramona glanced out the window. She saw a stranger sitting there quietly alone.
The woman remained completely motionless. Her face was shrouded behind a heavy black veil, and her very presence felt like a deeply unsettling bad omen. Ramona started to sense deep down that the presence of this stranger was far from being an ordinary thing.
Ramona's heartbeat quickened. She began to feel that something very wrong was about to happen. When Ramona looked out the window again, the ground suddenly seemed to slip away from under her feet. That woman was now standing much closer to her than before.
The sounds of the old house were now drawing even more attention than before.
Ramona's fear was now slowly turning into anxiety. She couldn't understand what exactly was happening to her.
As night fell, the weather also changed. Amidst the heavy rain and thunder, the whole family sat together under a shadow of fear.
But the real terror began then, when Ramona saw someone standing in the dark corridor of the house. Certain mysteries are meant to be kept hidden in the dark. Only a few moments later, that strange and mysterious woman had finally reached their doorstep. Now, the danger was standing right there in front of them. Amidst the fear and tension, Ramona began to have terrifying dreams. The line between reality and illusion was beginning to blur. Amidst all this, Ramona began to recall the happy moments she had spent with her husband David, but she had no idea that these very memories were the beginning of a great secret.
By now, Ramona was completely shattered. Pain, fear, and the weight of lonely pages had begun to destroy her from deep within.
She gradually started to feel as if the darkness was slowly seeping into her. But this was no ordinary darkness.
At long last, Ramona made the difficult decision to face her greatest fear. Now she was standing right in front of that mysterious woman.
And at that moment, Ramona realized that this woman was not some external threat. She was the shadow of her own pain and broken spirit. In fact, that woman was the embodiment of the sorrow, guilt, and despair hidden inside Ramona. These feelings had arisen after her husband's death. But now, instead of giving up, Ramona decided to bravely fight the darkness within herself. For the first time in a long while, it felt like this. That perhaps, after the darkness, the light was returning once again. The love of her family gave Ramona the strength to live again. Now she was no longer alone.
Gradually, life began to return to normal. However, some certain questions still remained unanswered.
Had Ramona truly emerged from her darkness, or was that mysterious woman still following her? The film leaves the answer to this question a mystery until the very end.
Before you move on, you should really just make sure you take a moment to look behind you and check your surroundings.